Welcome in, number 36, Know Nothings Podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Ray.
Yeah, here we go. Balloon talk?
Holy cow.
Balloon talk.
What the hell's going on, dude?
How many of those balloons did we miss? This is what I'm thinking.
They said 3 during the Trump administration. 3.
How do they know?
Because the Department of Justice and
Camera happy right now. Hold on a second. I gotta get my bearings. I keep going the wrong way. Every time you're talking, it's on me.
Okay. Let me know when you got your bearings about you.
And then it's you. There we go. Okay, go ahead.
So the story. Now this is kind of hearsay. The story is they knew about him and didn't tell Trump, so Trump didn't know about him.
Oh my god!
Because they thought Trump would do something reckless.
You think he would be like, "What? They're doing what? Nuke them. Give me the football."
They didn't know, so they just don't tell him.
Right? Wow, that's kind of messed up. That's messed up to have your people not tell you stuff.
Or is it messed up to be such a loose cannon that your people that are smart and that are put in positions to protect the country don't feel like safe telling the president of the United States things that are security issues? I mean, it's however you look at that.
I think he would have been like, "Why are you flying balloons?" I think he would have talked it out.
Well, he used to take his daily briefs that they give him that you get every day as the president. Hey, here's your daily briefs of everything going on.
Just throw them out.
I don't need that shit. I already know what's going on.
Oh my god!
I probably know more about the world. I probably know more about the world than anybody. Why would I need this briefing? They said he never read his briefing. Never.
Wow. Why did we wait to shoot it? So it was over the ocean, so it didn't fall on somebody's pig farm?
So it seems like they were like, hey, the order was given on Wednesday, and the military came back and said, okay, we'll shoot it down when it gets to this spot. And they let it get to, they said, we'll surveil it, we'll know everything about it, and then we'll shoot it down on this day, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
So, which, I don't know if that's the right call.
I don't think so. I think they should have, when they saw it, there's an easier way to take it down.
Well, I don't know. I mean, is shooting it down the right thing?
I think there's an easier way to take a balloon down than shoot a Sidewinder missile at it, right? I mean, it's a balloon. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty sturdy. But couldn't you just roll up on it and you're just guns hot, and then that's it, and then it just kind of, and then it just floats down?
I would be speaking out of my ass.
They should let me run the military.
Yeah.
They should let me do it. I'd be like, hey, go up there, hang out the window. We don't want to waste taxpayers' money. Get a 30-06, pop the top on that F-22 or 35 or whatever. Just give it a little boom and hit it like that.
You think there's budgetary constraints going on when we're at war with the United States at war? We're going to be like, fuck, whatever.
That's why I need to get voted in, because I'd save a lot of taxpayer dollars. Well, look, we probably could have paid somebody to shoot it down in South Carolina for free. For $10 maybe. I'd be like, hey, Billy Bob, shoot this down for $10. What do you got? And he'd be like, oh, hell yeah. People got, 50 caliber.
But we have a whole military that was able to take care of it. And it's
they should let us do it.
Yeah, that's been fun. But so after the balloon, that's when shit really got interesting to me. The balloon was like, oh, okay. And then the next day, they're like, there's an unidentified flying object, or what do they call it now? UAFs?
Over Alaska, UAF.
Unidentified aerial
phenomenon.
So UAP.
Yeah, UAP. So they shot that down over Alaska. Top of Alaska.
And originally it was the size of a Civic. Now they're saying it's the size of a four-wheeler. But now all the senators that came out of that meeting were like, we don't know anything more than y'all know. That's crazy. They came out of a classified meeting. They're like, we don't know anything more than
they said they can't get to it. It's too cold. The terrain's too messed up. Really? We can't get to it. We don't have some people that are.
That's impossible.
Gung-ho.
That's bullshit.
It's ridiculous.
We have Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and Marine Recons. Give me a break. We could break into a foreign leader's home and sleep there for a month before we killed him. That's how.
The other thing is we've got all these satellites. You can look through a keyhole with the satellite, but you can't find a Honda Civic. The four-wheeler. You can't find the shot down four-wheeler. It's the thing that's probably smoking.
Sell this line of bullshit to somebody. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that for 1 second. And then we get a second unidentified flying object over Canada. And this time, this is what takes it's a distraction. The United States government's doing this for because you're going to get that conspiracy side of it. But this is where I think that gets off the rails. Is now you'd have to involve a whole other country. So let's assume that all of our leaders were on the on the hook for the scam, right? And they're all going to do the cover up, and like no one's going to come and investigate behind it. It's really hard to cover something like this up. They got to tell us what it is. Now you're going to involve Canada, their prime minister, all their leaders. Impossible. So something's really happening.
Something's happening now. What is it?
Whether it's academic, they're like, well, it could be academic. Well, if it's academic, wouldn't you know? Like if Harvard is flying
they write that stuff down.
And
I also, when you get one of those like rockets or balloons or whatever that goes, you have to alert. What is the FAA?
Yeah.
Well, you have to alert them that you're doing stuff like that, so they know where stuff is. So was it more Chinese stuff, or was it
unidentified fly, or was it aliens?
Aliens?
That's what no one wants to say that because it's going to make you be like, well, I don't want to be that crazy person that says that. Well, here's what I need to know. Here's what I need someone smarter than me to tell me.
All right, I'll do that. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'll do that.
With given the technology we have, and given the engineering we have, and given the education we have, and the technological advancement we have, we still don't know how to make items fly without propulsion.
Right.
How are these items 20 to 30,000 feet in the air with no propulsion and no pilot?
That's what they tell us.
Right.
Well, that's what they tell us. I did see one though in Georgia over my house with no propulsion, just going over my house. I did see that.
I know you told me that. It's crazy, and I've had an experience.
It was a big black triangle with 3 lights on it. It went right over my house on the top of the trees. I could have hit it with a baseball.
So you think it was like a stealth?
I think it was like our of course it had USAF stamped on the top of it.
Oh, did it?
No. Well, I'm just saying. Of course, it was ours,
well,
and it just defied all laws of what I've known, like gravity. It didn't make a single noise. You just looked right up at it, and it just floated right over.
So I'll get crazy. We know, or maybe we don't know, but there's people on the record. There's classified documents on the record. There's people that are going, and this is all out there. It's all unboxed. It's no longer. It's actually a conspiracy to me if you think that other life doesn't exist. Now, whether they visit Earth or not, that's the great debate, or are they already here?
Right.
But when we were fucking up after World War II and we dropped an atom bomb on Hiroshima, all of a sudden you start having all these phenomenon, UFOs, whatever. Now there's some people, and I don't know what their sources are, but they're saying from that point forward, the aliens have been communicating with top world leadership.
Right.
And they've been telling them like,
don't blow yourselves up.
Kind of get your
We're
shit
watching
together.
you.
Kind of get your shit together. And all of a sudden, all this stuff starts popping off. Russia and Ukraine. Russia says, "Hey, America, if you send your jets over here, things are going to get hairy.
Yeah.
We're not taking kindly to you having your troops on our border, or NATO troops on our border. We're going to launch a nuclear weapon." All of a sudden, China's wanting to take over Taiwan. Mm-hmm. China's sending spy balloons to us. We're getting jiggy with it and just shooting these things down. Like they've been flying them over. So that's the thing. They flew 3 over and nothing happened. So they're like, "Fuck it."
Oh, I think they flew the balloon over because the weather balloon because they want to know what the weather's like when they take over. They want to know what to wear when they get here.
You think that's it?
Yeah.
That seems like the most.
It's like we flew a weather balloon over to see what the weather's like because when we show up, do we wear shorts? Do we not wear shorts?
Oh, maybe I'll just pack both.
Here's another thing. You see all like the gimbal. Remember the thing with the gimbal, and they said they were going like 14,000 miles an hour or whatever it was, and all that. How do we shoot them down? How do we shoot these 2 down then? If those things are so badass,
these were unmanned and not that badass.
I don't think the one making jagged moves like this and like 90-degree angles at that speed is manned.
Maybe we didn't shoot it down, and that's why. They know there's like video footage maybe that exists of us shooting the missile, so we had to be like,
so
yeah,
we got it.
We got it, but we just can't find it right now.
We got them, but I think we disintegrated it.
But think about this though. Let's say for the sake of argument, they are UFOs. There are aliens, because I believe there are aliens. If they're 100,000 or 1,000,000 years more advanced than us, think what they're doing and thinking of things that we can't wrap our little pea brains around.
We would be dead and we wouldn't even know it was them. Like they would kill us if they wanted us dead. If they didn't come in peace, they could kill us by just, we're so fragile.
But
all they have to do is drop some kind of.
They're advanced enough to know that wouldn't matter because no one dies, right? We're all just energy. We're all
right.
spirit. I mean, that's
well, they know that.
They know that. They're a million years advanced. They know that.
Right.
So if they're in tune with the what are the seven, the chakra and the, that all that's part of, like, we got all this information allegedly from extraterrestrials. The reason we know that are people that have died and had near-death experience and went into a light.
Yeah.
And they've all had the same type of experience. They've all spoken to these. They all say they've spoken to these type of people. So even if they were 1,000 years more advanced than us, we can't fathom what it looked like in the year 1000.
Well, once you get over the Fermi paradox, it's like you've made yourself use enough energy that everyone lives at a certain level. Like everybody's
Correct.
living great.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's a peace that they would be completely peaceful if they showed up, if they were an advanced civilization, because advanced civilizations are peaceful. They're looking at us like we're assholes because we're like, this piece of land's mine. This is mine. Don't put your balloon over my piece of land.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot it down. Don't do that. And obviously you can't do that, obviously, but I'm just saying from their standpoint, it's like, here's a piece of ground. We're fighting over it.
You can't do it because it's stupid.
It's all
stupid.
It's all dumb.
It's all dumb as shit.
People.
What do we do? We're all people. That's it.
Like,
We're all so stupid.
It's like when astronauts they go out in space and they look back at the Earth, and it's just like this one place that we all live, and they have a completely different perspective. I wish we all could see that. I wish we could all see the perspective that we're here on this marble floating through space. It's very fragile, and it especially to like our sun. The thing that the not changing gears, but changing gears. Did you see the thing that came off of the sun and like created a vortex? They were saying broke off the sun, but I read into it a little bit more, and it's like nothing broke off of the sun. Just a big piece of like just whatever it's made out of like came up and then started like a vortex on the North Pole. They'd never seen that before, so they were all just like, "Whoa!"
What about the core of the Earth about to be stopping and spinning the other way? When is that supposed to happen?
It actually stopped years ago, but now it's reversing the other way.
It's going to reverse and spin the other way. Yeah. And they're like, it should be fine.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't fucking know what it's going to do.
Have you heard about this?
Isn't this strange? Like all of this stuff is hitting us hard. Like right now, like 2023 is coming in hard.
Have you heard about the universe coming towards our universe? Have you?
I've heard about that. But that's to be a while.
No. I'm not talking about Andromeda.
Oh.
Andromeda or whatever. That's like
Andromeda.
Andromeda. That's like 3 billion years away.
Mm-hmm.
No, apparently there's like a solar system that's set to that could pass. They discovered it in 1967. It got like one article in Science Times or something, and they were like, and it had there's a giant star or sun, and behind it are millions of meteorites, bowling ball sized meteorites.
No.
Listen, and in 1960 something, they were like, it's about 60 years away.
What?
And there's this article about it, and you could see it, and they're like, it's going to come within just a few, a couple million miles of our solar system, but none of the planets or sun will hit us. But the problem is all the millions of meteorites.
The buckshot.
The meteorites dragging behind this star, they're set to, several 100,000 are set to, they said it'll be like it's hailing bowling balls.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, well, this article got in like 66, 67, made popular or something. It was published, and people were like, it just kind of got thrown away. And so some guy was talking about it. I was watching the video, so I don't know that all his sources or whatever. I was really just trusting, as he does, a trust me bro type of thing. But he's saying it's like within a few years now. Like we're here, and he's like, it's not. I'm not. And he was not being a fearmonger. He was like, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that meteorites hit everybody and kill everybody. The 800,000, the 800,000 or the million meteorites the size of bowling balls half of them could go in the ocean, some could go in Turkey, some could go in America. Who knows?
Well, I'm just saying that's kind of the thing behind the Hunger Dryas.
Yeah,
that happened 12,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Younger Dryas. The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
The Younger Dryas 12,000 years ago annihilated everything like that.
And then
So-
that's when I think civilization restarted.
I think that is when civilization restarted. If you
I
go
think they
far
were
enough
advanced
into the
then,
Earth,
super advanced.
I think they were advanced too.
super advanced. You go
How they
far.
build all that stuff?
You go forward. There's all these cities and infrastructure and crazy technology. We're not gonna even go down the pyramid wormhole again. We've been there enough times.
We
but
can go down as much as we want down that sucker.
brother, there is so much shit that happened and they don't want us to discover it. And now they're saying like all these Indian mounds and such in America, those are pyramids. Like if you dig
Yeah,
into
they've
them,
been here.
they're
Yeah.
like dig into. Then look at Easter Island. You start digging down. It's like the thing goes down.
It
for
goes. It's the whole
100
body.
yards.
It's like the whole body. Not
Oh yeah,
just
all the way
head.
to the feet.
Yeah.
It's not just a head.
Yeah, pretty wild. Mud flood, the whole hidden history of the mud flood thing.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty wild. Hey, I saw this other thing.
What about the World's Fair?
I was about just to say that.
Let's talk about that shit.
I'm gonna
Pull
move
something up.
I'm gonna move your First of all, let me pull up our senator in Louisiana, real quick.
Senator John Kennedy.
No,
It's not
this guy. Hold on.
John Kennedy, right?
Is this who he is?
Yeah.
Oh, I've done screwed everything up. Hold on. Here we go. Look, you can see it. I just get it. You can see it on the. I don't know if you can see it, but
They
okay.
can see it at least. The
They
people can see it.
They can see it.
I can't see it, but as long as the people can see it, I saw it. Yeah, that should be Kennedy, right?
That's him. Yeah, John Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you confused me with the Kennedy.
Not John F. Kennedy, but
Not- yeah.
another John Kennedy.
So here's his thing. He says he was in that. He went into the meeting, I guess, the briefing, whatever. He says 4 objects have been shot down over North America airspace since February 4th.
yeah, because another one was over Lake Huron yesterday.
Yeah. The first was identified by the Pentagon as a Chinese surveillance balloon, but the U.S. Defense Department has not confirmed the nature of the remaining 3 objects. So they don't know what the last 3 objects were. They're considering as leading explanation that they could be tied to commercial or research entities and benign.
That's what we hope.
That's what we hope. So
And that's probably what it is.
this guy, the Senator John Kennedy, it's clear to me that this is not a recent phenomenon.
And he looked worried. I've seen a bunch
He
of
looks
interviews.
worried.
Have you seen
in this
interviews
thing.
with John
Look
Kennedy
at this.
before? He's
Look
usually
at
like
this.
loose.
He's loosey goosey. Look, he's like worried. This is what he said. I would play it, but I got to switch some stuff around. It's clear to me that this is not a recent phenomenon, he told reporters. This has been going on since at least 2017, calling for more transparency. If you are confused, you understand the situation perfectly.
Exactly.
Is what he said. And then he said, concluding his comments to the media, he said, "Lock your doors tonight."
Yeah.
What?
What good is that going to do, though, really?
Lock your doors.
If it's some real shit going down, you know what I'm saying? That's almost like my theory on the homemade militia fight in the United States military. That's kind of like locking your doors from aliens. They'd be like, "Oh, hey, the door's locked, Igor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, turn around then. Fuck it."
I gotta move this camera. You keep going.
They're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be that worried about whether our doors are locked or not. If they need to come, if advanced civilization wants to come bother me and Shudrit, I think they're gonna be able to.
They're gonna get you.
I think they're gonna be able to get into my house.
Well, think about this though. Really, if you really want to get in somebody's house, you can get in their house. I mean,
me and you can. Yeah.
Well, they'll know you're coming in, even if you just like break the window and just like bum rush.
Yeah.
And you know they're in there. You can get into somebody's house. It's not hard. It's just going to be loud.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to get in quiet, you could do that too. But
Be
most
crazy.
people lock their doors and they go lay down and they're like, "I'm so safe." And it's like, you're not safe.
Yeah.
It's not safe. I had some dudes break into my truck 20 feet away from where I sleep.
Yeah. They don't care.
And they were right there. And that kind of wigged me out. So when I get this house over here, wait till you see the old system I put into this house. I'm going to have lights that come on and flash when they come on at night.
get video surveillance everywhere.
Video surveillance and the light. If I would have had a light out here that would just pop on when somebody walked up, they would have ran off.
A motion light. Yeah.
God dang it.
Yeah.
They just would have ran off.
Yeah. That would scare most people.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd scare aliens though.
No,
But lock your
aliens.
doors.
Lock your doors.
But so let's get into this. Let's get into this World's Fair thing. I think it's an interesting topic.
I think so too. Okay, let me
So
just
set the stage
let me just
for
hit you
everybody.
with this. They built these World's Fairs like every year,
Every
And
year.
They
Almost.
made these huge buildings.
We're talking like 1912, guys.
Yeah,
1910,
1912. These huge, like Taj Mahal buildings
whole
and stuff.
cities.
Whole cities.
And canals.
With canals and like motorized walkways and all this energy and stuff.
In 1912.
In 1912. They had electric cars in there and all this stuff.
This would take a million people, 40 million man hours to build these cities. Pull one up if you can.
Yeah,
to show
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Like
Let me pull one
the
up.
cities. If you haven't seen these World's Fair cities, were just, and then they just tore them all down. Now make that make sense. Even if it,
They tore them down. They don't even tear down the Olympics grounds. That
so
they
they're
built.
trying to say, some people are trying to say, well, they were made of like disposable materials. It's just like plywood. No, it's not. You can look at these structures, and people were there. These were. I'd love to get some eyewitnesses accounts of the people, or some video footage. There got to be some video footage, huh?
There's got to be.
I mean, even in 1912, somebody had because video cameras go back to what, the 1880s or so?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever seen any like video footage?
there's pictures of
1800s,
World's Fair.
early 1900s, crazy looking. The people like so enamored with the camera, they.
It says the World's Fair that ignored more than half the world. The spectacle of the World's Fair Columbian Exposition of 1893 was unrivaled.
Look at that shit.
Let me pull it up.
Look at that. Now, why would you think about the amount of money and resources to build that? You just tear it down. Why wouldn't you just leave it for the city?
It's crazy. Look at this thing. Can you see it over there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Like, let me just hit you with some pictures. I'll just hit you with pictures and we'll talk about it.
And the canal's going 2.5, 3 miles to the river. So you got to dig a canal 3 miles, like 100 feet wide. I don't know how deep, but pretty deep.
I mean, look at some of this stuff. Look at this stuff.
And then they just stop doing this. Obviously, you stop doing this because it's insane, right?
Look at this struggle. Look at this.
This is like lost history.
This thing is crazy. This is unbelievable.
If you showed up to a city like this in 2023, Mike, and they were like, yeah, and it was the size of, they're huge. How big? I don't know how big they're, but they're whole cities, right? Several city blocks. If you showed up and saw all these structures and these canals, would you? And they were like, we built that this year. Even in 2023, wouldn't you be like, no, you didn't?
No, you didn't. How much manpower did they throw at that?
They were like, in the cities they were in, like outside of
Look
St.
at this
Louis.
thing. Look, where did the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair buildings go? Look at this thing. Look how it's built. Look at all the ornate. Look at all of the detail.
Can you
on this
Can you make that
building.
big on your screen?
I can try.
Where they can see-
I hate this. Is there any way to like make the picture thing not do the side picture?
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, like
Is that because like I'm so aggravated at like there's somebody out there knows
look
better
at the,
than
I mean,
me.
just the size and scope.
Look at the detail of like just all the stuff.
1 year they built this in 1912. How many people even lived in St. Louis in 1912? Where did you get all these workers? Who were all these workers? And why did you
Look
tear
at
it
this.
down?
See these people? Oh, they're like ants on top of this thing.
Yeah. Now let me see this. Can you find any pictures of the construction of the World's Fair in 1912?
Oh, let's do it.
That's where we need to go, baby. That's where we need to
That's
go.
where we need to go.
I want to see like an immigrant, roofing.
Well, I mean, obviously they did
They did what?
construct it. It didn't just appear.
How did it get? You think humans constructed that in 1 year?
Yeah. What are you saying? Humans didn't? Are
I'm
you
saying this is
something
part of our
else did?
alien conversation.
Oh, really? Oh.
I'm saying, how did they possibly do it?
Look at this.
And why did they tear it
Look
down?
at this thing. 1893. Look at this building.
Yeah, I don't
you see it?
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it at all.
You don't buy it at all?
Not at all. I need more.
What do you think that's made out of?
I don't, even if it's made out of paper mache. You know,
Look at this. Look at this. Look at each individual statue on these things. How in the world did this happen? We're living in a simulation.
we're living in a simulation for sure.
definitely living in a simulation.
Well, that's damn near theory now.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
top
physicists
say that like you can't prove that we're not.
Top physicists are leaning towards the simulation. People like Elon Musk are saying it's it's a much, much, much greater chance that we're in a simulation than we're not in a simulation.
Yeah.
Very smart physicists
That
are
we're
saying
not
that
in base.
that
we're not in base reality.
We're not base reality.
Because
No chance.
Because
Who would make this base reality?
yeah, this is a joke. I think we're living in the joke. It's a joke. Somebody I saw posted. This is pretty funny. It said the alien, the UAP or whatever, was shot down in Alaska over Cumtown on 420 like something about
At 420.
420 days until something. It was like they like this whole thing that was like hilarious. It's like called Cumtown.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
wouldn't it be
a 14-year-old is creating our simulation right
or
now.
a 1,000-year-old man who's still a man again who just finds things funny like farts and
funny.
sex
It's
jokes.
like
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot this thing down over Cumtown,
Cumtown.
420. It's 420
4:20
days
in the
since
afternoon.
something or whatever it was.
At 260, it's 69 degrees.
Yeah, it's something like that. But it was funny. But it's like, yeah, there's it's like GTA 1010 we're living in.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous
It's
what's
so
going on.
it's so absurd. Everything. Like, okay, look at
No, really. Okay, so look at this picture right here, and tell me how they built it.
Okay, so in the time,
Look at this
What city is
obelisk.
that from?
This is 1893
What city?
opening day. Ooh, we got a copyright thing going on right here. Hold on.
For what? Yeah, just find the city for me.
Let's visit that. Let's see. What was the opening day of the 1893 World's Fair like? Chicago. Nope, that just says. Yeah, Chicago welcomed visitors from around the world of the opening ceremony of the world's Columbian Exposition on May 1st. We're celebrating with a special event, a day at the 1893 World's Fair virtual tour on April 30th or May 9th. In this 1 hour virtual event, I guess they're doing like a virtual thing where you could have looked at what it. But look at this thing. This is incredible. In Chicago.
And it's 'cause there was a million people in Chicago in 1893. So you would have needed at least what 200,000 of them to commit to your project.
Good Lord. That kind of stuff. Who's the artist?
Who's the architect?
Who's the artist that made did you see there's like 20 sculptures. Like is everybody Michelangelo in Chicago? Like what did they do?
No, the Anunnaki went and got him and brought him there and said, "Here, tell them it's a World's Fair."
Oh my God.
What? Or what?
It blows my mind.
If what I'm saying is crazy, okay, let's. And what I'm saying is crazy. I recognize that, right? Like I'm not detached enough to not know that when I say something crazy, that it's crazy. But is it crazier than saying that shit was constructed in a year by humans? What humans? They all had other jobs. Where do you have? Did you find a picture of the people who were doing the construction? That's what we need. What happened when you Googled it? Did you Google it?
It just shows you the buildings. Let's look at it.
So they're going to work on this 365. You know, it's 24/7. They got to be working on this round the clock, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
obviously.
not one photo of the work. Surely there is.
There's got to be construction pictures. Hold on, let's view all. We're looking. I see. Here we go. I found one. Look,
Good.
right there. Made out of wood. Look at this. Look at all that woodwork.
And
There's 6 guys right there. They're hamming it up.
they're getting after it.
You see it?
I can't see the people. Let me. I'm going to do something. I'm going to break protocol.
Don't
break your camera.
Don't. Here. See this?
Yeah.
Okay, see this? Man, they're working hard.
They are working hard.
Look at all of this what is built. Look at this build. Look how big this building is.
Well,
You can't see that over there?
not good like I needed to see it. I could see it, but I can't see it good. Well, if there's obviously pictures of people doing the construction, which there had to be, you couldn't just show up in the city and have the thing there. But
This building right here is impressive. Right here, look, I'm moving it around. It's huge.
and then go to pictures of the obviously the picture of they did tear it down because it's not none of it's there.
How do I make this picture the whole screen? It doesn't like. I used to be really good with computers.
Times pass me by, sonny.
God! How do I make this Google image the size of the screen? Is it that? Nope, it's not that. I don't know what I just did. Look at okay, Ferris wheel, big whoop. Look at this thing. This is the incredible story of the 1893. Let's bond together as a human race. Everybody quit taking care of your families. It's time to get 10,000 people together to build this and then tear it down.
And then build another one the next year in St. Louis or wherever.
What the hell?
What?
Somebody, we really need somebody to explain this that knows.
Somebody that knows needs to come. We need to get a guest that. Now, obviously, they don't.
I bet John knows.
You think?
I bet
Ask
John
him.
knows.
They don't make men like they used to because they don't have men available now that could do this in a day. I mean, in a year. They can't get
Look at this piece of wood right here.
They can't
Can
get a
you see
Walmart
it?
built in a year.
Yeah, they can't build a Buc-ee's in a year.
It takes 3 years. It's going to take 3 years to build a Buc-ee's.
3 years to build
With all the money in the world, you say, I've got $100 million I'm devoting towards this Buc-ee's. I'm fixing to get it built. And it takes 3 years, right?
And they don't have to pay any taxes. Look, did they just burn it all down? This looks burned down.
I guess that's the...
Why would they do that?
Google that. Google, why did they tear down the World's Fair? If anyone knows, comment on our YouTube in the comments or comment on our TikTok. Let us know. I think it's bullshit. I think something else is something afoul is afoot.
Well, that would make it romantic.
But if it's not, I'm willing to accept the facts. But why did they tear them down?
Buildings put up for World's Fair were mostly only temporary structures.
That's what they say. Yep, I said
they weren't intended to last beyond the length of the fair. But all the work.
I was looking at all that wood. That definitely looks like homes.
That looks like really good wood.
It is
and
really
that
good
was
wood.
a big ass tree.
And that was a temporary structure.
They quickly deteriorated and became unusable once the fair was over.
No, they did not.
Dude, some of that stuff looked like statues.
They did. That's the big. That's why I don't believe anything, man.
So they built everything out of cardboard, and that was it.
But we're looking at the pictures of the construction, and they're using 2x4s.
How do you make those buildings like that, and then they're just gonna fall? They would have fallen on people during the fair.
Yeah,
you had to make them.
You're gonna be like, well, we need to make this only last 3 months because it's only.
Okay, put one screw in that. It's just like 4 screws in the bottom of that should be good. We're gonna tear it down in a month.
I haven't just seen the construction pictures. That temporary material stories never added up to me.
Today, the fair structures are largely gone, but much of the landscape architecture remains. Jackson Park includes nearly 600 acres of idyllic green space that stretches through 3 Chicago neighborhoods.
Where are the canals?
Well, there's some water. I see some water in a little bridge.
There's some canals that are still left? Yeah. I mean, obviously they happened.
Well, Chicago has the river going through it.
Well,
right?
how much money were we just that rich of a nation then that we could just afford to just build could spend probably the equivalent of $2 billion and just throw it away?
After what happened to all the buildings from the St. Louis Fair? World Fair. St. Louis. After the fair closed, nearly all the structures were demolished within a short time, leaving only a few footprints, ponds, and canals in Forest Park.
I would have been like, if you guys can build like this, why don't y'all come build the real thing in 2 years in our city and make our city the most glorious city in the world?
Dude, this stuff is crazy looking.
The architecture. I don't know enough about it. I've only seen what I've seen on YouTube and what I've looked at and a little bit of research. So I'm far from an expert on these things. It's just curious to me, like everything is. The world is very curious to me.
This is the one that really gets me, is the mud flood, because it shows all these buildings where down here at the bottom of the building, there's like doors that are cut off. And
tell everyone about the mud flood.
Okay, I'm gonna read. I'll read something because I'll
give us the Cliff Notes. Obviously,
the Cliff Notes of the mud flood are.
I know, but we need to. Or I think I know the Cliff Notes. But
okay, so let me find. Oh, that's a book. I don't know. Did you ever notice, like, when you're looking at this stuff, it's really hard to find anything?
Of course,
that makes any sense. Okay, thousands of conspiracy theorists believe our entire architectural history is a lie.
Yes.
And that the Tartarian mud flood happened in the 1800s.
Yep.
where there was a huge flood and mud arose and mudslides and mud came up out of the ground and covered up, what is it, 6 foot?
6, yeah.
6 to 8 feet of everything.
Everything. And killed almost everyone. Not everyone, obviously.
Yeah. And they've hidden this from us. We're living in some video game. This is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And we're finding out more and more and more and more.
I'm looking. Man, they flood the internet with so much BS for you to get to the truth. Anything.
I just want what do we really know? What do scientists know? That's what I like to know.
So like what we do is we go to Wiki. Wikipedia. I give money to Wikipedia. When I'm scrolling through, I use Wikipedia a lot.
Yeah.
And like every year it'll like pop up and say, "Hey, we need a donation." I give them a donation.
Yeah, they deserve it.
I always give them a donation.
It's a good, easy tool for everybody.
Yeah, because I use it.
Yep.
I should just pay for it.
Sure.
So I give them like $10, and then they like send me a thing saying,
thanks
hey,
for your help.
Thanks for your $10.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I think it's good. You should give the Wikipedia when they ask.
Yep. I find a lot of good information on Wikipedia.
There's a lot of good stuff. So we're gonna look up mud flood.
So who would
this week's episode sponsored by Wikipedia?
What would be the motivation behind? Let's say how many people lived? Let's say a couple thousand lived, and they had to repopulate Earth, right?
Right.
Was it the whole Earth, or was it just America? Just America, right? Or just portion of America?
I've only seen pictures of it in America.
Okay, so Americans were the ones that they decided to hide that because they didn't want to deal with having to explain the death.
I don't
like. What would be the motive?
This one really makes me weirded out because I think they like made everybody forget that it happened. Like they didn't talk about it.
Well, I feel like I'm gonna maybe my 7th or 8th, Earth.
Right.
If that
makes any sense.
If that makes any sense. To those that it makes sense to, it makes sense. To those that it doesn't, it doesn't. It sounds crazy because they're on their first Earth still. They have not had any shit.
No, this isn't the first. This isn't
my first.
This isn't my first. We've talked about this. This is
ad nauseum. Definitely not my first.
Yeah. Here, I got a list of conspiracy theories here.
Why do they call everything a conspiracy theory? Why can't they say we're trying to figure out?
You know why?
To make
Looks crazy.
Make people that search for information and knowledge seem stupid and crazy. Right. Like, you only need to believe exactly what we tell you. If you question anything about it, you're a conspiracy kook.
I mean,
I'm not a kook.
Right here under me either. And right here under conspiracy theories, they have the Antichrist is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna have the mud flood on this one. They've got I don't know.
Well, you can't even find information on the mud flood?
I can't even get a good solid
And talk to us about the Tartarian Empire. It was an empire, right? Is that who? Wait, so that was in America?
I'm gonna let you hit it. I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Okay.
Let me pull it up on your phone. I'm coming up with nothing. I'm coming up with a big goose egg on that.
It was the Tartarian Empire, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Stolen history, Tartarian crypts, and mud flood catacombs. This is probably a pretty good video to watch, but it'll... Oh. Somehow I'm...
There's an ancient kingdom, either ignored or purposely hidden by historians. Most of the posts there show European-style buildings in the United States built, supposedly with Tartarian technology, or speculate over artistic representations of lost technology. This is what I know. I know that we had lost technology. This is like, it would take a lot of evidence to convince me otherwise, that we weren't more advanced and then got wiped out and then started over.
Let's look at the images.
That's what would take some convincing for me, that we didn't have technology before.
Well, it's not showing me. Look, it's just all blacked out. Because it's big.
Okay, here we go. Can I read a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to take this off.
All right, basically some people noticed. So people started looking and digging, as we do. We like to dig into things. They started noticing that until the 18th and 19th centuries, maps included a region called Tartary, or Grand Tartary, in the east of Russia, Central Asia, and Siberia. They allied this with quotes from the Encyclopedia Britannica, an 18th century work, and articles like this one to claim that there's a hidden empire in history. Why? Obviously, there's been enough unearthed that it exists, why did they hide it? That's the question.
Why was it hidden?
Why was it hidden?
Why would you hide it?
There's a reason. They didn't want you to know about their technology. They didn't want you to know. Maybe we could have. What if they had access to unlimited electricity? What if they had access to free unlimited electricity?
Right.
Think about Nikola Tesla. He died penniless with all these ideas.
Yeah.
He could have.
Ideas. I think all those ideas worked.
They all worked. Like he could have powered the whole Earth. Would cost us nothing.
Nothing, and it would be free.
They,
and well, that's what I was saying last time. Anytime anybody comes up with something, what do?
When was the first time you'd even heard of Nikola Tesla?
Or we make you look like an idiot.
When was the first time you'd even heard of Nikola Tesla? Tell me about a time in school. We went to school in the 80s and 90s.
Never in school, only after I flipped my lid after seeing that thing fly over my house, and I started reading every book I could get my hands on about
the first time I knew what Tesla was from the band Tesla, and I was like, what does Tesla mean? And that led me to look up what Tesla meant.
What was their song? What's the song?
They had a bunch of songs.
Well, what was one? Signs, yeah.
Yeah.
Long-haired hippie people
need not apply. That was actually not their song. That was a cover song, but that was their biggest song.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You just blew my mind. Who was that by? This always happens to me. Like I'll somebody be like, "Well, that wasn't their song. That was a cover song."
Oh, who was the original artist?
Who was the original?
The 5-man acoustical band.
Who?
The 5-man acoustical band. That's why Tesla's album is called the 5-man acoustical jam, and their number one song from there is called Signs. From the 5-man acoustical band.
When
from
were
the
they?
60s.
From the 60s. Okay.
So
cool.
and they were
That's pretty cool.
And they were a very underground band, so no one knew. So anyway, the first I knew was I saw Tesla, and I didn't know what Tesla meant, so that got me to research. And I was like, and I'm in high school, so Tesla breaks when I'm like 9th or 10th grade, probably 10th grade. Anyway, when I discovered Nikola Tesla, who he is, I start reading about him. I'm like, how have we never? He's never been mentioned in any book. I think it blew my mind then.
Did you find out?
And that was with limited information. You go into encyclopedias or whatever.
Well, he got buried because he worked for. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank, which is not good on a podcast, is it? You know, he had DC current, and AC current, and it was what's his name? Come on, Edison. He worked for Edison, and then Edison basically employed a bunch of people in a think tank that made things, and then he took credit for it.
Yeah, but you know what Nikola said?
And he bounced.
Nikola was like...
Nikolai Tesla was like, fuck you.
No, every time they were going to take it, he was like, it's cool. You can have it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He was like, it's cool. The people should have it.
He quit, though.
It's cool. The people, whatever I have that helps the people, they should have it. Give it to them. And they wouldn't give it to them. They wanted to sell it to you.
They want you to spend money.
You have to spend money.
There is totally a way that we could live without having to pay for lights or energy or any of this stuff. Dude, it's such a big. It's like a bunch of busy work for people to get dollars.
You've gone down the wormhole on the Titanic and the formation of the Federal Reserve and Herbert Hoover being appointed.
The free tickets given to the most richest people in the world that could have stopped all that.
But J.P. Morgan doesn't get on there and
unsinkable. It's unsinkable. Go. Here's all the rich. Go. Unsinkable.
But Rockefeller doesn't make it.
They were dead before it went down.
J.P. Morgan was getting a massage or something that morning, he said, so he couldn't make it. All the people that were for the Federal Reserve couldn't make it, right?
Couldn't make it.
So all the people that were forming the Federal Reserve, they were going to get Herbert Hoover. He was going to be their guy. They were going to put him in place as a puppet. And they're like, we'll handle this banking thing. We got it. Don't worry. I saw the notes from the presidential meeting, because they have to transcribe all that. Right. They've declassified them now. If y'all saw these notes, if y'all read these, it would make you sick. These people talking in a presidential meeting, talking about how they would enslave an entire population of American citizens with the president of the United States, mind you. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, they were like, yeah, here's our plan. Here's how fractional reserve banking works. Here's what the Federal Reserve is going to do that we're going to head up. Don't you worry about it. You don't have to understand it, Herbert. I just need you to pull the levers for me, right?
Right.
And while he's talking in this presidential meeting, they say, we'll be able to enslave everyone, enrich ourselves beyond our wildest dreams. And he was like, the caveat, no one will be none the wiser. Right. No one will have any idea what we're doing. This is a sinister plot. It's not. This is not Ray Creasy making this up on the Know Nothings podcast. You can go.
This happened.
You can go find the document where they're talking. You can go see the people that got on the Titanic that were against the Federal Reserve. Dead. John F. Kennedy was against the Federal Reserve. Dead.
Yeah, totally.
Come on, man.
Well,
come on, man. This is fucked up. It's all fucked up.
That's how the world works, man.
I have to just stop and not think about any of it.
It makes you so mad.
It makes me so mad.
It makes me so mad.
I just want to I don't know what I want. Like, what do I do? I don't know what I want to do. I just don't want to be a part of this.
I don't want to be a part of it. It's like when you're a kid and you're like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Why is everybody so mad and like everybody goes to work? Is there a better way? No, there's not a better way, stupid kid. Go to work. Go to college. Get a job.
This is the
way.
Pay
off your student loans until you're dead and go to work. That's what we're doing right now.
The brilliance of their
It's like, why are we doing this?
The brilliance of their plan was this. They're like, we'll get. At that point, it was 10%. Fractional reserve banking, you only need to have 10% to loan it out. So if the bank has $100, we'll print you $1,000.
Yeah.
You loan out the $1,000.
You get real money back.
They'll pay you back $2,000 in real money. We would make $1,000 off that $1,000, and we would have done nothing with nothing.
Right. It's nothing.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. Now it's nothing, right? Now it's not even 10%, right?
It's 0%.
It's 0%.
It's now zero. Fractional reserve banking is now zero.
They could just make up money.
So you go to Chase, and you say, I need to get a mortgage for $285,000. Chase goes behind the scenes and goes, we don't have $285,000. Then they contact the Federal Reserve and they say, would you loan us $285,000 to give to the schmuck? The Federal Reserve says, yep, hold on a second. They do that. $285,000 is created on a fucking screen.
Created.
It ain't even like it's printed.
Well, I'm doing it right now. I'm buying a house right now. And it's like they want to know where all the money comes from. Check this out. They want to be linked up to my bank account. They want to know where my closing cost money is coming from. I can't get a loan on the side to pay for closing costs because that's fake money.
Yeah.
They want my cash money.
Yeah.
They want my hard-earned cash money for closing because that's where
they
get the money.
Because they don't create money.
They get the money. They get the cash money from me, and then they give me the monopoly dollars to buy the house, and then
you pay them back in real dollars,
and then I pay them back in real dollars plus interest for 30 years,
which will be which will be more than the whole cost
or whatever it is.
Probably 7 right now. But
no, I got 5.9.
Oh wow, that's awesome!
Yeah,
and it'll be more. That'll be more than the cost of your house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. So like when you look through the thing, it says your house costs this much. At the end of this loan, you will have paid this much, and you go, holy shit, I'm going to pay that off quick.
So imagine all these people that we think...
And it's all fake money. Like, the money you give them is real because you're working your ass off for it.
And you have to generate that money.
And I have to generate the money. And then they put me through, like, they put me through this rigorous thing to where it's like, what's your credit? Where's the money coming from? How long have you worked for this person? This. And they do their due diligence to see if I'm worthy to pay for the house for 30 years, but they don't give a fuck. You know why? Because if I can't pay for the house, they're going to take it from me, and they're not going to give me the money I put into it. They're just going to sell it to some other schmuck, and they're going to get the money from him. And they make all exorbitant amounts of money off of the same house. I had a bank try to take a house away from me. And
the crazy thing is it's not money. It's just things on a computer.
I had a bank try to. I built a house in Georgia, and I had a bank when I had a second mortgage on the house, and I was paying all of my notes on the second mortgage, and the bank called me and said if I didn't pay it all off, they were just going to take my house because they wanted it because they knew they could sell it and make a pretty penny off of it. They just wanted my house because I had bought the land, I had paid off the land, and then I built a house on it. Then they wanted my house because I paid it off and the land was paid off. Then I built a house. I paid on my house for 15 years. Had a second mortgage on it that I was making payments on, and they wanted it. And you know what happened? I had to take everything I was saving up and just pay off that second mortgage. And then they were going to take my house. The reason why they were going to take my house is when I went to sell my house, it sold in a day.
Really?
They knew it would sell that fast. They just wanted to get my money.
How did they word that to you?
They called me on the phone and was just like, hey, you need to, at the end of this, we're not going to give you another loan. You just need to pay off this, like the balloon or whatever. They're like, you need to pay it off. And I was like, well, I don't have that money to pay it off like that. And like, well, then we're just gonna take your house, like for real. I remember I was mowing my lawn and I was on the phone with my banker, and I was like, "You're just gonna take my house?" I was like, "Well, let me come down. I'll just redo the loan or whatever and put it in." Like, no. And I had decent credit. My dad has perfect credit, and he was like, "Fuck that. We're gonna go down there and get a loan through me and pay it." They didn't want it. They didn't want my dad's loan. They didn't want.
They wanted the house.
They wanted a house. They wanted to sell it because they knew they could sell it for more than what it was worth.
So were they pissed when you paid it off?
Yeah.
They say anything, or they couldn't say anything?
They couldn't say anything. It really made me so angry. And I know people out there are going to listen to this and call me a bullshitter, but this really happened to me. And I took everything I had. I took some money from my parents, and I paid off the loan that they wouldn't give me another one for.
Yeah.
And the reason why I had that second loan was...
And you paid on it for 15 years?
Yeah.
So they know that obviously you could make the payment.
I was making the payments, no problem. And the thing was, is they just wouldn't give me... They wouldn't extend that loan. And they wouldn't let me get another loan for it. They wanted my house.
It's a movie, dude.
And I sold the house in a day. When I moved here, and I did all that, and I kept my house. When it was time to sell my house, it sold in a day. That's what they knew. These people know your house could sell or not sell. They know down to the fractions of what they're going to make and how they can do it.
Oh, sure.
And it's all a game. And they will take your house. They saw an opportunity, and they sat in a board meeting, and they said, we're going to take his house and sell it. He's been paying on it for 15 years. That's our money. And then we're going to sell it again and then get some more money.
Ain't that shitty?
And we're not going to take...
Now that makes me angry.
His dad's perfect credit to get another loan. Because I was like, well, I'll just do that, and you just, whatever.
Just pay the loan, yeah.
Just pay the loan. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. We actually sat in this guy's office and looked across the thing, and I was like, man, I want to beat your ass. Like, I want to jump over the desk and just, like...
Oh, yeah, that's
give
infuriating,
it to you hard. Dude. My whole family's living in a house. My family's living here.
Yeah, my wife, my kids.
Yeah. And I was like, who the fuck are you? You're just going to take my house. Fuck that. I'm going to get the money. So I went out and I got the money.
Yeah.
And I paid that thing off. But they really did that to me. And
but
it's bullshit.
It's a scam. It's a scheme. It's a charade. I think people are waking up slowly, but we may just be too destitute.
I don't think there's anything we can do about it. I don't think there's anything we can do about any of it. There's nothing we can just sit here.
Well, none of it matters. When you come to that,
matters. You're right.
When you come to that, I came to that a few years ago. When
I did come to that too.
My life changed.
I had to.
None of it matters. If I walk out and my truck's on fire, my truck's on fire.
Your truck's on fire. I guess just insurance might pay for it.
If this is a series of Chinese spy balloons and China's gonna take over Taiwan and Russia's going to nuke Ukraine or Europe and this is going to cause a world war, there's nothing. It's just this is what's happening, right?
Yeah.
It's just more shit to talk, more shit for the movie. It's just everything's just more shit for the movie. You can't die because there's no death.
Right.
That's the wild thing. Okay, if when you understand that you're at peace and you are energy. You're a soul in a body, right? We're a soul in a body. And you can't control anything that's going on, but it doesn't matter because the worst thing that can happen to you is nothing.
Nothing.
The worst thing that can happen to you...
They make you get all upset about all this stuff, and it's like if you just know that like, hey, guess what? Even if it's like death's on your doorstep, on your doorstep, there's probably something better than this after that. After this
is the worst
part.
It's gotta
be better. This is
terrible.
The worst part. This is terrible.
This is the worst part, right? And then they say, or some people that have been through these, millions of people that have been through these, what do you call them? I guess where people that have died or near death or whatever. Everybody's got kind of the same story. And they seem to say when you go back and you get to see it all again, you get to see what we're doing on Earth from like a spirit state.
Right.
And I don't know that I'm close to 100% on this because this is what makes the most sense to me.
Is this where you die and you go back to the chat room and wait for the next Fallout.
this is
You
just
wait.
kinda
You
where
wait to
you're
get
just
back
you're
in the
just
next Call of Duty.
You're just a conscious soul. Your consciousness. But
I'm making a joke
yeah.
about it because you died. You go back to like the weight room.
Well, you
where
don't die, you just-
where you go into war zone. It's
Yes.
like I'm going.
I'm going-
it's like going into the war zone. It's like, hey, we're going back. Let's
But-
go.
no,
Gulag, baby.
They all say when they looking back and you're watching all of us on Earth, they're like, oh my God. They're like, it's just a play. They're like, it's just a big play, and none of it matters. They're like, oh my
Well,
God.
who
they're
said it? Did Shakespeare say that all the world's but a play?
all the world's indeed a stage. We're merely players.
We're merely players. I
Yeah.
mean, and you know,
That's so he knew
Shit's
he
for
knew
real.
the same shit that
He
people
knew.
that are people that are enlightened people are finding out now. That enlightened people were finding out. Well,
we kill- we
30s,
kill-
the
we-
40s, the 50s.
we kill all the enlightened people.
But you don't kill them. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
That's what's funny about it. It's the worst thing that can happen is nothing. And they get out of it and they come and they look at Earth and they go, oh, you can see them like off. Some people have said, and I don't know if this may be a little out there, but some people have said like you can see them literally, like people, actors, literally off side stage, but to be like, hey, you've got to go make this political speech. They're like, oh yeah, here I go, and they go out like onto a play and they watch it from this space of other consciousness, and they're like, this is so funny. They're like, none of it means anything. They're like, it felt so significant when I was in it. And it's nothing. And then they run into other souls or other people when they're in this energy vacuum. And they're like, oh, yeah, this goes. They're like, how long does this go? Oh, this goes forever.
Yeah.
This is forever. You're just an energy loop. Oh. Okay.
You want to go back in?
I find peace through that since I've never been able to identify with religion. But it maybe everyone's definition of God is that. You know what I mean? Like, they're just calling it God or they're calling it Muhammad.
Well, I always thought like God and all that was like a
metaphor for
a metaphor for the great energy of
that's
everything.
what I think too. So if you just got everybody to kind of understand, like, you are God.
Obviously not like a big bearded dude in the sky who's getting
Obvious.
mad because you're jerking off.
Right. You are God. I am God. Right. That's the other thing that they say. It's just it's infinite. It's infinite. We all possess that. That is it's a neat thing, and I find it cool because I guess the people I most identify with, there's got to be some sort of it is all just happenstance. If it's a simulation,
That's great.
it could all look. It can all tie together. Why couldn't it be a simulation? And the simulation, your soul, your consciousness is part of the that's part of the simulation is the consciousness, right? That's what's
Right.
That's what was created by the software.
Right.
Was our consciousness.
Right.
The fact that we're here in a living body is like a 1 in a quadrillion
Yeah.
chance. And they say people don't really want to come here, right? Like, you kind of have to. They say some people
Who
have said,
says that?
some of the folks that have had these
They say they wanna go-
experiences.
You know, I know somebody.
They say they don't
that
talk-
Died, I know somebody that died and like they woke up in a field with like a lion and a tiger, and they were like in a wheat field, and the wheat, and they were just like wrestling around with them, and was like living the dream. Like they felt
No
so
pain.
good, no pain, and they were just like, and like it wasn't like the tigers or the lion was like after them. They were just like having a good time. Do you think that he came back as a tiger and he didn't see himself as a tiger, and he was actually a tiger or a lion and was like doing all that?
This is what I know. I know.
and then died and came back as a person again. Do you know what I mean? Like, did he not see himself as a person?
who? The guy that your friend?
The guy that I'm talking about, like he coded on a table.
Or maybe it was his time to. No, maybe he did come back for a lion for a little while. Then he came back because
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like time and all that stuff is like he coded on a table and and then he like went into a lion's body and he was in a field
and that could have been 100 years or 30 years. Because time is meaning. There is no time. There's no linear time. No linear time.
So he could have been like a lion, and he was like, and it was like the greatest feeling on earth because there was no constraints. He was just a thing doing its thing.
And then he came back as himself.
And then he got sucked back in as himself.
Well, that's what they say.
And had to go back to work.
So that's what they say. They say when you get in there and they're like, okay, all right, Mike, it's your time. You ready to go back to Earth now? Most people are like, not really.
I think I'll stick around. Do you got something else?
But a lot of times.
You got something else I could do?
A lot of times they're like, hey, your work's not done, right? You know, so It all
What work are we doing here?
the work on how you're sent to teach others how to be a good human.
My next work is to get a bass boat and just like bass fish every day.
Then you'll have to do another one of these. If that's your life's mission, you'll have to get to do another life.
Why? What if my life's mission is to catch the greatest bass of all time?
Because you're missing it.
Do I have to touch the
No,
fish?
you have to. No,
I don't really like touching fish either. So it's
you
like
have
a whole
to.
thing
You have to
about
do
it.
good things and show others how to do good things.
I've done that already. I'm done. Now it's time to bass fish and die.
You don't die. You don't get to die. That's the thing. No, if you've lived your
Bass
life,
fish and pass on.
if you lived your life if you figured it out in this life, you don't have to redo it. That's what they say.
That's what they say, but do you think that you have to like be born a monk and then live in the monk and do all the monk stuff? And
I don't think I've never heard that.
Well, I have because it's like part of the.
Oh, you've heard that you had to.
That's part of the thing where you like if.
Well, they all tie to look. You're taking like we could take a little bit of Christianity, Buddhism.
It's part of Buddhism where you like
all,
reincarnate until
it's
like
all
you
the
gotta
same
keep
thing.
coming. You gotta keep coming back.
Everybody's telling
Like
the
you're a
same story.
shithead and you get killed. You come back as a grasshopper that gets eaten by a
Stomped, yeah.
something, and then like you stomp immediately, and then that's good karma on you. You
karma's
come back
real.
as a bird, and then you get eaten by a hawk, and that's good karma on you. So you come back as the hawk, and then you get killed by something, and you come back as this, blah blah blah, up to a human being. Now you're a human being. Did you come back as a human being in the Himalayas to be a monk? No. Not good. Back to the drawing
But
board.
we don't remember any of the other lives. That's the weird thing, right?
Right. If we did, well, some
They wipe
people.
your memory clean.
I've read things where people have.
I've had deja
remembered.
vu.
I've had a lot of deja vu, and I've actually experienced other people's lives in dreams, and like for real, like super. Just like I'm talking to you right now in dreams that were so real that I was like, that was real. That happened somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I've had those dreams.
Well, they say the dreams are like that. Dreams are what it's like.
Yeah.
Because when you dream, your consciousness shuts off, and you just kind of drift.
Dude, I've had dreams that were
and
so
sometimes you don't dream at all.
so real that
Oh,
I
yeah.
woke up and I was like, oh my god, who am I? Like what's going on right now? Oh yeah, this guy on this side.
Yeah.
You know, because I've had the other thing is through my entire life as I've been a kid, even when I was like 5, 8, 10, 12 years old, my entire life I've had end of the world dreams. The worst dreams I have are these dreams, and this goes along with this, are alien invasion dreams.
Uh-huh.
Ever since I was a kid, there's a thing where I'm just hanging out like with my family or whoever. It does not even have to be me in these dreams. It's like not even me. It's like
Right,
me and a
yeah,
family.
yeah.
Having
But it is you because it's your
but it
consciousness.
is me,
It's your consciousness.
and I'm having like a picnic in like Central Park in like New York, and then like these things show up in the air and just start obliterating everybody, and we start running, and it's like, oh my god. Or like at my old house, I had a dream where like these
But you
things
never
show
die,
up.
do you? You never
No,
die.
I
You
never
never
die.
die in a dream.
I never die.
No one does.
Well, the thing is that some of these are so real that like the despair and the sadness and like the anxiety that you feel is so real, and when you wake up you're feeling it. And like I've had these dreams where these crafts are coming. I had one where
This is fascinating.
that is this not fascinating?
It is
This
fascinating.
terrible?
No, it's
Oh, okay,
fascinating.
okay.
No, I'm being
Let-
serious.
Let me just tell you this.
'Cause I
one.
haven't had these experiences that you're having.
This is one that I had that like really tied into another dream that I was just like, and I woke up and I was like, I write all this stuff down. I've got like somewhere written down all this stuff. So like this one dream, like the Earth gets attacked, right? And there's these creatures that are all these vibrant colors, like red, green. They look like monkeys, but they got like these long legs and they're like crazy, and they're like jumping on people and like eating people and stuff. They like release them out. These like ships are releasing these things out, and they're just like eating people and getting. And I'm like driving in a truck, getting away from them. They're jumping in the back of the truck, and we're like shooting them.
You gotta be
and
scared
all
to
this
death
stuff.
in your.
And it's scary. It's so scary. Then I have another dream.
Then you just wake up, right? Because they don't. You never.
yeah, and then I wake up.
Are
But
they
I-
alien-like people, like with octopus arms and?
No, they just look like monkeys that were like super vibrant colors, like blue, bright red, bright yellow monkeys that just like teeth. They just jump on you and they just eat people. They're just like, ah, and they get after them. So like, here's this other dream I had. Now this was really cool because I wrote all that down, And then I had this other dream where I got picked up, and they're like, "Hey, you want to fly the ship? It's real simple. You just use this and fly the ship." And I flew the ship, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go to this other place. We're gonna, the ship flies."
Were these aliens or monkeys?
Yeah, there's aliens.
Okay.
Okay. I'm getting to the monkey part.
Yeah.
So like, I get strapped in, and we go somewhere to this other place. Well, I was like strapped into this thing where I was like in some like liquid, and we like go somewhere else, and then I come out of it. This is so real. This is like as real as me and you right now.
Yeah.
I come out, take a shower. I remember the shower because I was like encased in this liquid because we were moving so fast or something or whatever.
Yeah.
And I come out, and we go into like this shop. There's a huge window looking out at a city, and like the city's these weird buildings are all white. Everything's white, and I'm in the shop, and I remember the floor and the chairs just being one piece, like
all together. The chairs are built part of the floor.
Part of the floor, melting the floor, and it was just like a shop where you would like buy stuff, like water and whatever, and there were pelts that you could buy of those monkeys that attacked everybody
previous...
in my other dream.
Oh,
there were pelts of those bright green.
That's wild
red.
As hell.
Isn't that wild? And when I went back,
it's gotta mean something.
It's gotta mean something, right? I read that from the other dream, and I was like, oh my god, it's like the same thing. Like the pelts are in this thing.
Dude, isn't
that weird?
I rarely have vivid dreams.
Oh man,
almost never.
You know when people talk about
how often
dreams,
do you have them? Like
I have dreams like ones that I remember once a week.
Oh man, I'm like once every 6 months.
Really?
Maybe.
I had one the other day that was crazy. It was about Harry Potter, which is hilarious.
Or you like that's probably just a dream. Some things are probably just dreams, but or is it just or
it was like it was like an
adventures.
It was like an alternate version of the end of Harry Potter when he growed up and they're like working for the DOD or the CIA and like everybody is magic or whatever.
Yeah.
It was really terrifying though, and I woke up and I was really upset, and I like stayed up watching TV for the rest of the night.
Or if our consciousness is just really traveling during that time.
The Harry Potter one was funny. It wasn't funny. It was terrifying. But
what was scary about it?
Just the fact that you know how like in dreams you'll be somebody and then you're outside of that person looking at the person that you were,
which is what'll happen when we die.
Which is what happened when we'll die. So like I was Harry Potter and I went to see some people and we were all working for like like DOD, CIA, something or other. He was older, and then somebody told him somebody told Harry like what they were working on like in the CIA. It was like some top secret shit and like about aliens, and it just like blew his mind so bad he went crazy and he possessed a machine. By this time I'm outside of
you can remember all this in the
dream.
Yes,
he possessed
all these
like
details.
A killing machine and started killing all of his friends and everybody in a machine. He like possessed a machine, and I fought and hid from him for hours. And I remember on top of I was on top of a building, and I could hear him like this machine or whatever like going around killing people, and I was hiding on top of a building, and then for some reason like the machine got tired and I could hear it like snoring, and so like I used a spell to like jump off of the building. Like when I jumped off, I like used a spell to use my foot to get footing.
Your spirit lives a cool life when it goes to sleep.
And I jumped off.
Boring.
And then when I woke up, it was Kylie snoring, and that was what the snoring was.
Oh yeah. I guess with that, we'll catch y'all next time. We're gonna. Hey, if you guys find out what the freaking UFOs were before anybody in the government does, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll talk to
Slip
you later.
us a line. Bye.